while, Teresa, if she calls in, if she doesn't call in, we still can go ahead and do a reading anyway, unless she has something particular that she wants to talk about. Oh, she will do that, all right.
Okay.
So, this coming new year, I'm creating specific memes that are engaged to help you not just inspire, but change your thinking. It's about being the shift. It's about changing the mirror consciousness. Then I'm blogging about relationships and many other things. One of the things that they were referring to as blogging was, if anybody ever watched The Twilight Zones, there is a lot of impact of the messages that Rod Serling, when he wrote, he really had, you know, some meaning behind what his stories were about. And so now, we were watching those, and now I'm supposed to put more of a spiritual meaning to what we can do, how we can heal it, what needs to be addressed, so that we can actually change that consciousness, so the group consciousness doesn't have to be that particular hell. Then I also put my first newsletter out there today, and if you are looking to want to be on a newsletter, then I highly suggest that you go on to any of our Facebook pages, fan pages, and look for it so that you can subscribe, because if you went into www.medicinewoman, that's with an A, medicinewoman, the number 4, the letter U.com, and you look, you will see where you can actually sign up for the newsletter and download a free meditation, and then you will be signed up for the next newsletter. And then the caller is, I hopefully called in, and you go ahead and take that.
Absolutely. Caller 780, you're on the air with Brenda, Jen, and Scott.
Hello.
Thank you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. How can we help you, hon?
Well, I called in December, and you did some healing work on me with sexual abuse and with my sister.
Okay, yes.
And I didn't hear from my sister for 2.5 years, and then I called in, I think last week it was, and you did some more work on me.
Right.
Well, guess who showed up the other day?
Oh,
my
boy.
sister.
And how did that go?
Oh, boy, right. So, I just woke up out of bed, and I hear a knock at the door, and I go to the door, and she's standing there.
Oh.
So she came right to the door, and I asked her in, and she asked if I would forgive her.
Oh, my God.
I know.
I got chills.
For what? And she didn't really know.
Oh.
For what? Like, she did some things, but she didn't really know for what. So
my gosh.
I shared with her what we got and all of those things, and yeah, it felt okay, and we forgave each other, and
holy cow. That is awesome.
Wow.
That's what happens when you heal those entanglement cords. I've got major goosebumps.
Me
I'm
too.
so happy for you.
That's really cool.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's been hanging over us for quite a while, and yeah, that set up a lot of blocks for us.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Can we do anything else for you?
Sure. For 2013 that I should know, I'm looking at beginning a new healing business. I did healing before, and looking at ways to do that.
Okay. So, yep, I see that's already into play. And the building, they're showing me pictures of how you're building it and creating it, and it's a go. So the universe, is it behind you on this? Yes. So the universe, as this begins to make sure that we hear the whispers instead of the bitch slaps, is there anything specific that would help? What would you suggest? And they're bound to have me flip these two cards. Something about being stuck in the mud causes you not to change. Now I need to find out what that is. Scott, go ahead, and I'm gonna focus on this. And do you know what I'm talking about? Being stuck in the mud causes you not to change?
Yes.
Okay, focus on that. Now, Scott, go ahead and just draw that card when it comes up. Now go ahead and read it.
Spark. That sounds familiar.
That's what you needed for the tractor to get started.
Yes. Okay, you want me to read my card here?
Yes, dear.
Spark, you are a clear channel for divine creativity. There's a spark of creativity in you, and you have every reason to move forward with optimism and hope. Open yourself to inspiration and allow life to show you its beauty and your part in co-creating it. This is the perfect time to give birth to an idea, start a new relationship or job, or begin any endeavor. Attraction is high as you connect with others who can co-create joyous experiences and join with you in expressing the fine inner aspects of life. Watching a spark turn into a flame and stoking the fire is a gratifying activity.
Wow. Okay, so every time the spark comes, they say there's a part of you that when you start to use your intuition, a panic will occur, and you will go, and this is an old, the time you were born, and it was your panic, and the only best way to explain it is, with Jen's help, it's like when all of a sudden you want a muscle test, and your body goes and does this funky thing, and we know you can muscle test, we know how good you are, but all of a sudden the brain goes into a pattern of a panic, and you can't do it, right?
Right, it's
Yeah,
like,
we talked about this before.
Oh,
I
we
called you
did.
last time we were talking about this panic
Yes.
and how freezing up.
Okay, so that's good to know. Now, let's look for it. Okay, now it has, does she need to remove, okay, they say that. Now, did I give you a healing tool?
No, you did work on me, but...
Okay, so let's look at this then. Now we're going to do it with the fine-tooth comb. Oh, interesting. Have we talked about wallow with you?
No.
All right, now this is how Jen gets involved again. There's a particular behavior, a personality trait that we go into as a form of a safety blanket or the way that to behave, and this particular, they're pointing to wallow. It is, how would you describe wallow, Jen, that would make, because it was about dwelling in it, and it was fun, and it was a way for you to cope. Help her understand what that means.
oh gosh, that was a little over a year ago. I actually started investigating this before I decided to end my marriage. Brenda started talking about this idea of wallow. Did you know that you wallow? And I would tell her, no, I don't know what you're talking about, this idea of wallow. What the hell are you talking about, wallow? I don't wallow. I don't wallow at all. And then it was like, it seemed like every second of the time that we were together, it was, that's wallow. Ding, 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 that's wallow. Ding, 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 that's a form. Everything I was doing was a form of wallowing. It was so ingrained into who I was and what I was doing and my survival and how I acted, how I behaved. It was so difficult to stand back as the observer and get a grasp on what she was talking about.
Right.
And then it started, I started recognizing it, and then it was like a little pig in a mud puddle. It feels so good to just take that little mud bath and crap in mud and that kind of thing, and because that's what I needed to soothe myself, because I grew up with a certain amount of pain in my life, and this is the way that I dealt with it. And it was my little pacifier, it was my little safety blanket, it was the way that I could cope with reality when life was hard, when life was painful. Then this is what I did, though I didn't know what I was doing at the time, because I was a little kid. I didn't know I was setting that up.
Exactly.
But then it started to defeat myself. And it was my sarcasm. It was the way that I would just expect people to behave. That's just the way that life is.
Even part of your joking process. Humor.
My joking, my humor, everything was just so wrapped up in this idea of wallowing.
What we need you to do is understand that this part of the healing process takes time. It takes your effort, and it takes you to consciously become aware. I just gave somebody an assignment of arrogance. And they're looking at me like, I'm not arrogant! And then I'm like, you have to understand the definition of what it is. So you're going to get a book out, you're going to get your tablet of paper out, and you're going to put the word wallow on it. And then you're going to say a quick prayer, thank you angels for helping me define wallow. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write down, wallowing means to me, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to go to your friends. What does wallow mean? And they're look at you like, and then they may give you an answer. And then the next question would be, do I wallow? Now this is where you have to be tough. Because we don't like to hear, like if we're doing something wrong or we see it as a flaw.
Right, and then Brenda did an awesome job of sending me funny things from Facebook, because there's a few memes out there in the newsfeed on Facebook that are about wallowing. She would send it to me. Of course, this is all private message. She would send me this, and these were funny, ha ha ha. And then if this was behavioral therapy, she had me have a rubber band on my wrist, and I had to snap myself every time I did a wallow. And she would send me these jokes, and then the next line would be, ha ha, snap your rubber band because I know you laughed at it. And so that's my soul coach.
Yes, we have to amp it up sometimes.
Right, but it's really paying attention to these behaviors, because then, what was it, this summer or fall, you know, a whole year later, maybe even, I came in and said, oh my gosh, this wallowing is self-defeating me, and she said, ding, 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 you get it, okay, now you've become the observer for a few months, and yes, it did take me a few months, to get it, because it was absolutely everything about my reality, about my existence, how I created relationships, friendships, love relationships, business relationships.
And it's not wrong, it's just that it takes and stills your life force, and it robs you from actually creating opportunities you need. It'll actually cause you to miss opportunities, and it keeps you in your box, and it keeps you in your comfort zone, and it keeps you from... And so they're saying that because they know that you want to do this and they want to support you in this healing adventure, they want you to, let's just take this and get it out of the ballpark. So you have to get a notebook. You're going to write down the wallow, like I said. Then you're going to look at the dictionary, because you have to think about it, first of all, like worldwide. Watch TV, see some movies. What does wallow mean? Do they say that you should have it in your part of your life, or some people saying it's bad? Don't look for just the good or bad, just be open to all the answers. Then you look at the dictionaries, not just one, but several. Then you look at the thesaurus, because there's different words that you may associate with wallow that isn't found in that, but in the thesaurus it could. So then you have to notice and let the angels in one more time and say, thank you for showing me with grace and ease. Please make sure you say that. Don't say bring it on. You'll screw yourself over big time.
Yes, big time.
So just say with grace and ease, and then the universe is going to start pointing out, well, that's wallow, that's wallow, that's wallow. And then you're going to go, damn! Because you have, like I said, like she said, it's a big part of your life and you have no idea. Because wallow is not just...
the Eeyore, you know, that it's obvious that you're doing it.
Hers was humorous.
Because when she said that the wallow, I thought, oh my gosh, am I walking around like Eeyore? I don't feel like I'm walking around like Eeyore. I'm funny. I'm sarcastic. I'm hilarious. Guess what? It was all wrapped up in wallow. Oh my god, now I gotta be a new definition of how to be funny? That's going to be hard work. Well, it really hasn't been.
No, it hasn't. But it's still funny.
But it was wrapped up in every single little thing that I was doing.
And so, you know, a lot of people have, you know, I give them the homework assignment, and yours just happens to be that you're going to take a part of your characteristics, your personality, and they're not flaws. Please get that out of your head. It is just the way that we learn to pacify ourselves, to live in survival mode, being on this planet.
And now it's looking at, this is where you're losing life force.
It's forcing you to stay in the box and everything else.
And it's not a flaw. It's just, okay, now you've done, oh my gosh, you've gotten some really great big healing chunks out of the way. Now this is the next step so that you can start to begin to thrive.
And when wallow comes up, and you really know how you know it, and you can feel it, and you're in the thought processing, that's when you can turn to the healing tools, you know, meridian tapping, and just putting your hand on your forehead. Make sure you always test it, because this is where you actually become more active of taking in charge of your life and decide, you know what, I don't need that behavior. And when you start to do that, because wallow, just like dread and just like anger and any of these, can get lodged in the body. And when you consciously say, no, I don't want that, then you're given an outlet to some degree of releasing it. Please do the treasure chest method when you're going to release it. And what will happen is your body will start getting free of, because it don't know what the hell to do with it, so it bounces around in the body. But this way, you're directing it out.
It's like flubber.
Yeah, yes.
Again, you don't want it to multiply. You want it to go in the treasure chest and be recycled. And so then there were plenty of times that I did the meridian tapping of, oh my, Brenda is telling me I'm wallowing again. I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself. I don't even know what she's talking about. I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself. I've already healed wallow. I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself. And like the 5,000 different ways that this word was being defined in my world over the past
And I haven't seen you
plus.
do it. So
Yeah.
you must have healed a big chunk of it because I haven't seen you do it.
Yay!
If you're doing it quietly in your room.
I'm a ninja wallower. Cancel.
Maybe we need to heal that. Okay, so you understand what we're asking you to do?
Yes, and I just, when you were talking about that, I had a really good friend that passed away. It was 2 days ago.
Aww.
Well, it was New Year's Day.
Aww.
And her and I were really close for many years, and I had a major thing happen to me once. And I went to her, and she looks at her watch on her arm, and she goes, okay, you have a half an hour.
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
Say all that you want and get into it and scream, yell, do whatever you need to do, but do it and go on with it. And after the half an hour is up, stop.
Yep. I totally do that.
And I'm with it.
Now, I also
and
want...
that's how she was, and that's
beautiful.
what she used to do. And as soon as you talk about wallow, her image popped in my head of
Excellent.
how she used to do that to me.
So what I want you to also to know is that other people's wallow. Because you'll fall off the wagon. If you haven't healed it completely, you'll fall off the wagon.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And sometimes it starts to become painful. There's been really funny things I want to laugh at that people put up on Facebook and all these different blogs, and the humorists are very sarcastic, but it's a deep form of wallowing on some level, and sometimes it's painful. But oh gosh, this humorist Colin Neeson is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly or not, on McSweeney's. I cannot even say the name of his funny blog about fall, autumn, but it's decorative gourd season MFs. And so,
yes.
But it is all, and I love it, and it's very I mean, it's hilarious, but I don't want to insult the person, but it's a form of that sarcasm and that kind of thing.
So if you start surrounding yourself without realizing it with people that do this, you will then soon do it. Over this holiday season, you know, I don't have negative people around me. Well, people's energies don't even have to speak. They don't have to say nothing. And if they're being in a negative state, holy crap, I fell off the wagon for a day, and I'm like, I feel so dirty because I just felt like it swallowed me up. And then I was talking negative. I couldn't stop. My husband says, oh my God, who are you? Stop it.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't. And it was just pouring out of my pores. And I had to go and do some deep healing and tapping. And just because I just kept picking up, they didn't get to vent at the people they needed to. So during a card game, they would lash it out towards me. And of course, being the empath, I absorbed it. I'm like, no. So anyways, just be careful, and then how other people, now this is important, tap out how you see other people wallow. Because if you don't, you're going to not be able to take care of that mirror, and then that mirror will hit you, and of course you'll fall off the wagon. So you can really learn how to heal this in many directions, okay?
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of stuff. Like my mom has been the victim, and this might be the next level, is I really tried and did a bunch of stuff on being a victim. So to me, this is the next level of that.
Yeah, I feel like that too. So yeah, if you take and heal this out, it should start taking care of that panic as well. And so you should be able to get yourself unstuck. Now that sometimes it's not just one thing, it can be a whole bunch of things, but this is at least the first step so that you can really get to do what you want to do in the future. Okay?
Okay, and this will, just unravel.
Thank you, dear. Please call in, and we appreciate you telling us in that testimony. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
We're going to take a little promotional break. And now we're back, and
We're still waiting for the question from the chat room.
then Aloha J is still gone. So one of the things is that I have a free class January 10th is when it's going to start. Hopefully you're listening. For everybody, it is free. You get to, but there's only room. It's a limited seating for, 9 people, I believe it is. And if there's more people that want to do it, then I will create another day. But right now, it is a free class. It is on Thursday, and January 10th, from 7 to 8. So it's 1 hour. And what we're going to do is...
This is an online class, right?
It's an online class. You will go, just go to, where do I want you to go? If you have the newsletter, then find it on there. It's a free class.
Right, and I put it in the chat room.
Oh, good. The free class is there. Good.
So it's http:// ashclass.weebly.com.
Yes. And then if you look, you'll see the C, S-E-E, and go click on that because it's Spiritually Evolving Enlightenment.
Okay.
And it's going to be a 1 hour. It's going to be all about teaching, because the hope therapy that goes with that, that'll be a separate class. But with this, it'll be channeled information will come through to help you to begin to start to become that spiritual human, to begin to look at what you need to look at that week. So whoever's in the room, I will acclimate to it. The spirits will come through and bring the information. You will ask questions. I'm going to teach you how to find the gems. I may repeat myself. Whatever it is, there's a lot of stuff that we can do. And then it'll be a free class. And then the following week, I'm going to try to keep it free for a month. So every time you bring somebody, I haven't figured out the whole details. But it is going, usually costs $77. But with a special, it can be $15 for each week, but I'm offering it free for right now. And just tell all your friends, and again, we may have to set up several classes, but we'll do so. You'll need Google Hangouts, and so that means that you'll have to be a Google Plus member. It's like a Facebook thing. So if you have to be invited, you go ahead and contact me, give me your information, and I will invite you. I just need your email, and then you can become a Google member. And that way you can find Google Hangouts. So we're going to try the Google Hangouts first before we try the VC and other stuff that we can use.
Okay.
We'll go that. What, did you get the question?
Yes. It's about diet. For the past 5 years, I've had bad stomach problems and a load of intolerances diagnosed. Dairy, meat, gluten, sugar, you name it. And I'm sick of it. I've also been on a Candida program and I'm not seeing any progress.
Okay.
I think I've come to realize that it's all anxiety based and that restricting my diet and being fearful of food that might hurt me is not healthy.
That is correct. You are absolutely correct. So we're going to be looking at our big book and everything. I'm going to be using my tools to help out.
I'll put that information.
What we want you to know is if you can get Dr. Cerno's book. It's S-A-R-N-O, Dr. Cerno's book. And then a Mind-Body Prescription, I think that's what it's called. That's his older book. But he's the one that actually, it's very important because...
Mind-Body Prescription?
I think it's a Mind-Body's Prescription. I'm not sure, but just Dr. Cerno, because he has a new one too. He talks about back pain, and he says, oh, it's all in your head. Not to say you're crazy, it is that you don't know what to do as far as what to process these emotions. It's how you know it, and negative emotions that are attached go in the body. It's the same line of what I've been talking about. And now we're going to find out what your sickness represents. So now I have to figure out the best way to, so intuitively I'm going to go to, we're going to look at stomach first. Because there's a low tolerance, but that's about pain. So we'll just go to the stomach first. Now draw a card, Scott, on holding in the mind that this person, so you're going to hold that energy of that person. And it's about how does the food just, you know, it's just how it's affecting her. And you just let the spirits pull out a card. You feel out if there's a different deck.
I think it's going to be this one.
All right. And you go and then do that route. And I am still looking for the words, there's stomach. Now there's a lot of information here. Because we could say digestion, because you're not digesting it correctly. But we're going to say stomach, because that's the one thing that just seemed to pop out first. A stomach, we're going to say stomach ache. It's catastrophe expectations. They have a pronounced fear of what they feel is a dog-eat-dog competitive world around them. If any of this is true, then you're going to say yes or no, and certain keywords then you can type in, or you can call in, and we can do it that way. But we have the stomach flu, no, stomach problems. Oh my God! They are facing an indigestible or nauseating reality in their life. They are full of dread and fear of the future, and they are highly insecure. Again, if this makes sense, let us know. They are worried, negativity, and full of, really? And decision anxiety as they fear new notions. Now, dread and anxiety can and will affect you, and according to this, will affect most of your digestive system. A little further, they feel overburdened with responsibility already, and they're highly reluctant to take on new ideas and input for fear they will result in further increase in restrictions, requirements, and responsibilities. The first thing that shoots through my head is that, have you ever been deprived of stuff? Deprived of food? Deprived of having things? And if you're used to having restrictions, huh?
And the primal needs, too.
Well, that's what I'm wondering myself, because what it boils down to is I'm just going to look and say, okay, so why is this reality being created for her? And it goes into panic. The panic is she doesn't want to disappoint anybody, but yet that's all she does is disappoint herself. At least she thinks she disappoints other people. It's very, very strong. And so I'm going to find out if there's a trapped emotion that's affecting her stomach. And then at this point, they're saying yes. And they're saying that it is, she can't be creative, so she has to stifle her creativity. If you say yes to a healing, my dear, one of the things we'll do is that we will help release this trapped emotions. But we also have to get you to understand what it means to have creative insecurity. What do you think it is, Jen?
Well, I'll just use for instance. When I was a little kid and I had nightmares, and I would want to, during the night, I needed some help from my parents, and sometimes specifically from my mom when I was having those nightmares, those night terrors. And, you know, I get that she had to go to work and all that kind of thing, and I was interrupting her sleep, and she would just say, oh, well, it's your imagination. It's just your imagination. You just need to understand it's your imagination. Oh, all right. I will now not have an imagination. I will do everything I can to make sure I don't have an imagination, because that's what's causing this problem. Therefore, the solution is, and so there went all my creativity. I didn't feel like I could allow creativity in, but it's also stifling in other ways. I mean, it could be writing, it could be art, it could be any way the way that you dress.
If you were to create something, if you're used to being criticized, you're probably going to stop it. We watched a show last night called Charmed, and one of the episodes was simply about how the child was having a demon after him, and what it was as if his nightmare came to life. Mm-hmm. And so the demon was actually, he was blaming himself. The child was having night terrors in a sort of way.
Right, but it was so powerful that it
became
actually
real.
Took physical form.
And the child was believing that it was its fault for the parents' breakup.
Yes.
Okay? So if that is the case of how you're doing it, it depends on how you're focused. It'll be those emotions. It'll be how you know it and how you can't get your mind off of what you're focusing on. And stuff will come to pass. Oh, no, that's funny. Now go ahead and read what you pulled,
Okay.
Scott.
I drew this is from the Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer. The Crystals card, Focus. Here we have an amethyst crystal cave bathed in the water from the river. The points of light represented the spiritual force that these crystal beings generate. Amethyst, as well as other types of quartz crystals, have been used for thousands of years in magic and healing, as well as for intensifying psychic capabilities. Since its violet color is the same as the crown chakra, it has often been referred to as a spiritual stone. The nature of quartz crystals, the second most common element in Earth's crust, is that they help focus the power of our life force or spirit. Where attention goes, power flows, and crystals magnify this power tenfold. Our intention influences where our attention goes. When we consciously are aware of our intention, it facilitates the focus of that spiritual power and supports the manifestation and material reality of that intention.
Okay, so one of the things that I happen to see here is the stomach meridian is close to the spleen meridian, which happens to be the earth and the way you're connected. And if your focus is on how you know you're sick, then you're not going to be able to focus on getting better. If you focus on how you feel panic or a competitive world, what's going to happen is your body is going to be the result of it. Because if you don't feel that you can be creative enough to be in that competition, or creative enough to win, or creative enough to be even up to a standard of competing, then what will happen is your body will start to break down. Then it'll feel like attacked, and then what will happen is that the alarms will go off, which will then affect how your stomach is. So you will actually be in a state of, I'm disgusted by this and I just can't do it anymore, or you're trying to feel your surroundings and then correct yourself because of the oversympathetic of trying to make sure everybody is all right and there's no more competition, caused your stomach to be sick. Then there's the expanded importance of self, like, wait a minute, what about me? But then there's the thoughts. If you have an obsessive thoughts, it then will churn the stomach to cause you to be sick. So we got a yes from her. So what we're going to do is, again, I want you to focus on creative insecurity. And when there you go. And when I feel that happening, I want you to roll that on him, because I want him, well, we've been working with him. So I'm going to have Jen roll the magnets up and down Scott's spine to help release it. And you're going to have to roll it 10 times, because this is an inherited, meaning that it has come along in the family line, and it could be the father's side. Could be both sides, but either way you're going to roll 10 times. So we're sending the energy out, and just allow yourself to feel as if somebody is right there with you to help you heal. And then as soon as she gets that 10 times, it's how you know panic as well. So I would tell you to go to the healing tools and get the meridian tapping and tap out when you're in panic. Otherwise, feeling that you're sick, feeling that no matter what you eat, everything else, all of that stuff, everything to do with your upset stomach, everything is that I want you to hold R1S. This is about the dogma. Same shit, different day. The dogma. So go to Hope Therapy, read it all about. Your code is R is in the right wrist, 1 is in the first position, and S is soft. You're going to hold your thumb soft. Remember to put your finger in your palm, then your hand on your forehead and your hairline. And then just feel all about the food, about how you have to be defensive, or how it attacks you, how you got to correct it, and how you feel you can't, and you just want to cry. It's same shit, different day. Because you're focused, you can't stop focusing. So this one will actually help you, hopefully, to pop you off so you don't focus anymore. So put on the scale from 0 to 10, give it a color, and go from there. So we have a caller, and then we probably have one little break left. Teresa says, amethyst gemstones helps with balance and addictions. And that's great, because addictions are not just what we assume. Addictions can be to thoughts. Addictions can be to a feeling. Addictions can be something to sickness, physical. Jen, you picked out a card?
Yes, for the person in the chat room, Betty. It's the Goddess card. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. And I feel like this is linked to the creative expression, or creative, the insecurity thing, not being able to express it. So anything, we call the God box that Doreen Virtue says, we call it the treasure chest. Mm-hmm. And so that's also on our healing tools, to put that into, get that outside of your body into a sacred receptacle like God box or treasure chest, and then have that energy recycled. And that healing tools on our website.
I'll fire them all in a row, and what we're going to do take
in a healing way, of course. We've got
yes, angels guide us and be with us.
Okay, we're going to zippity-doo out through these colors. First is a Skype caller. You are on the air.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm calling from California.
Oh, wonderful.
And I have had a wonderful detox 5 years, and now I'm ready to move on with my life. Just wanted to get a beat on where I should be in the next year.
Where you should be next year?
This year.
This year,
where
yeah.
should I be heading this year? I have emotionally, financially, materialistically, spiritually, I'm ready to move forward.
Yes.
Good.
They said that you're going to be learning to listen in a different way. So I'm going to have my husband read the card. It's number 53,
Okay,
reverse.
53
And we'll start
reverse.
from there.
Okay, listening. An open heart will hear the message. Are you feeling that you're not being heard, that perhaps your needs aren't valid, that your song will go unsung? Now is the time to bring your message to the world. Speak up. It's time for your voice to resound throughout your sphere of influence. This is a moment to say what you mean and ask for what you want. In the reverse position, listening has another meaning too. It also asks if you are refusing to listen to someone else, preferring to hear what you want instead of what's being said. This is a time to get out of denial. Reverse, the card always brings freedom if you need its advice.
So I'm going to look at what it is that caused you just to be like stuck or wherever you're in that position, because I can't, it just feels like, ugh, that's all I can say that word is. Yes, change is happening, so
Metamorphosis.
I'm going to let him read that one,
Number 25.
and then we'll go from there.
Once they get to the proper page.
It looks like you have to get a bitch slap, and I don't like those, but go ahead and read.
You are in the process of deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it's never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking in a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds its dead skin or a caterpillar dies so that a butterfly can be born, you're required to release your old ideas and embrace a necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of low self-worth, a dream that no longer serves you, a relationship that is drained, or unhealthy habits. Despite your fear, you must accept that this is a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you become. That sounds just like what she, the last 5 years gone through.
Well, what I asked for is, okay, so why is it that, is there anything stopping? Is there anything blocking? And it says that about 6 years ago, something put you in a stunned position or a shocking position. It threw you off your center, because literally the result that says that your brain says, I can't figure it out. So you've been, what they say, addicted to, I can't figure it out. Does this make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, and they said that those chemical peptides from that, can't make sense of it, it literally keeps pouring into you. So then my question is, okay, so what do we need to do? Because we really need to get that resolved if she's going to want to move. And they said, into the unknown. So that means you're going to be reading, so pick up the book, Scott.
Okay.
And he's going to read Into the Unknown, and then I'll give you more information.
Okay, let me get to the right page here, number 7. Trust and all will be revealed. Life is an adventure, and often new opportunities will arise that you won't know how to deal with. This is one of those times. You're required to trust this new phase will reveal wonders and miracles as you step into unknown territory. Imagine that you're not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. Whatever your inquiry, trust you'll be safe. Stay aware as you discover new and marvelous territories and valuable treasures.
Oh, now as I look at this, I would give you a healing tool to heal out, can't figure it out, which is a shock. But then it went to the heart, and it said that there's a heart wall up. And the heart wall says that you got shock stored in creating a heart wall. And I said, okay, and what is the second one that would need to be addressed? And they said it was longing. So, did you want something not to end, but it did end several years ago?
Yes, my divorce.
Okay. Part of you is stuck, and it's longing for it because you weren't finished. Because when you're not finished with something, a big chunk of you will remain in that stasis of, oh, I can't move forward because I got to have this. So then it becomes the longing period. The second one is shock, is because there's a part of you that, it's not that you didn't see it coming, it just shocked the hell out of you that that was the result. My husband can relate to that. And these things want to be healed out. Now, we use the emotion code to help remove particular walls, and with your permission, then Jen and Scott can send you a healing to help remove shock, but I need you to think about the shock. And then I need you to think about the longing, and if you say yes, then they can do the healing.
Yes.
All right, so Jen, okay, so the first thing I need you to do is think about shock. And when you feel like you're in shock, here you go. So going back to that particular moment, it's like I see you blinking, but you're just in shock. You're like, what? Okay, so we needed that. Let's check it and see where it's at. All right, now longing. Think about the longing, because you weren't finished with it yet. All right, so let me check. Longing. Okay, good. So now magnetically what happens is when you think of these emotions, they come to the surface, and by using magnets, we can just pull it out, kind of resolve the stuff that's been stuck there. And the part of you that's ready to move forward is that it's like old news. Now I'm just going to ask your body, what, hope therapy, okay. What we have is a healing tool called Hope Therapy, and it's on the website. You watch the video, read everything, but there's a code, and your code is R3S. R represents the right wrist, 3 represents the 3rd position on your pulse point, and the S represents your thumb's going to be soft. Your finger's going to go in the middle of your palm, then your right hand's going to go on your forehead and your hairline. Knowing that, all you have to do now is think of the topic. I can't figure it out. Every time I seem to go move forward, something stops me. Or, because you said for 5 years, you're like, okay, enough already. And so you're going to look at how you know. And then you probably are going to end up slipping into, I can't figure out why it had to end. Why it was told me that way. Why that occurred. And you'll slip back into the actual thing that caused you to go into a shock mode. And just allow yourself to put everything on a color and a number, and stay in that position using the healing tool. And because this time your body is going to be able to bring the blood back up to your forebrain and helps clean out the way that you create your reality every day. And it's going to be able to help you resolve those particular feelings and the way you know it. And it kind of like files stuff away so that you don't have to have those emotional chemical peptides constantly bombarding you, and the thought processes finally get to be calmed down. And really focus on, you can't figure out the longing, because you may have grown past and saying, I don't long for the person anymore, but the program in your body says it's still there. So what we're going to have you do is just literally take and change the way you create your reality. Are you with me so far?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the healing tool, you would find it mwreveal.com. If you look to the menu, you see healing tools. It drops on the left hand side, and when it drops down, you'll see where it says Hope Therapy. Your code is R3S. Now you may need more. That's when you can call in, or you can call and make an appointment. Jen drew a card.
Yeah, I asked just for a quick overview of what you need to pay attention to as you're moving forward, as you want to take charge of your life. And I am using Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck by Colette Baron Reed. The Well Watcher as Challenger comes to you to let you know that you've run out of steam. Self-will alone isn't enough to make things happen. All cannot be yours at this time. If you feel you're going nowhere, it's because you're meant to stay put. Willfulness can lead to your becoming like the bull in the china shop, creating havoc as you push forward. Remember the sacred, creative source of the water in the well. Drink some, be still, and contemplate the true origin of power. It isn't you, so drink deeply of the wisdom of the divine and listen to the beautiful music playing in your life. When you've made conscious contact with your higher power, you can move forward again, replenished and renewed. This is also an important time to restore harmony in your relationship, since you may be temporarily out of tune with one another. And it sounds like perhaps yourself, as you're becoming restored again. This is a time for you to actually, this is something that I've done in the past year after my divorce, is dating myself to some degree and finding out who I am and becoming more in contact with the divine is what it's saying.
Okay, so re-listen to the archives, do the healings, and be in touch with us again, okay? I know you can do it. If you feel like you can't, then again, call us and help make an appointment. We'll help you, okay?
Okay. Wow. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay blessed, my dear.
That was Wonderful.
Yay!
All right.
Okay, take
You
care.
will.
So we have two callers that we'd like to address real quick. We got down the last few minutes, so I already started doing a reading for 610. So pull it up. Let's go.
Okay, you're on the air with Brenda, Jen, and Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you have anything specific, or you just want to give you a general reading?
I have something specific about my dog.
About your
Okay.
dog. Okay, go ahead.
My dog, he's having a lot of problems, and I don't know for sure if it's the hip or the leg. I've been doing magnified and Reiki for him for a while. It gets better, and today he's having a really bad day.
Okay. He has a tendency to pick up other people's energies for the first part. He, the more domesticated we are, the more that we take and are feeling everybody's feelings that they can't process out. Dogs are notorious to help humans clean out things that the humans can't. And so the card that was drawn was Goblins in Reverse. It says, it is often difficult to deal with someone else's issues because they impact your own. No one is perfect, but in this case you're particularly vulnerable to being manipulated. Don't take this world personally. When the Goblin card arrives reversed, it's a sign to step back with detachment. Don't let other people's stuff lead you into reacting in an old wound. Love yourself unconditionally. Set boundaries, and your goblins will fall asleep. Love is your answer. So, have you had any of this?
And this is for him.
Correct, but is this
for him?
yes? But is this happening to you?
Oh. Well, I'm very energy sensitive, extremely.
Yes. And the thing is so what I read is that other people's crap, have they been in your space?
Right.
Your dog is
Right.
mimicking your body.
Right.
So the dog is showing you the aches and pains. And you said particular places, what was going on with the dog?
It's his right hip or his leg. It seems like it goes from the knee, but it's more in the hip. But today's the first day that he seems like he's not putting pressure on it.
Okay.
The weather has changed a lot here, though.
Yes, and the temperature controlled, or the way it's like he's a weather map. It is the foundation of not being able to take the right step forward. So the question for you is, when you have other people's crap in your space, can you take the right step, and can you create a foundation of detaching and letting these people go?
Okay. Not always.
Not always. Okay, and that's also the representation of what's happening. So, Jen, I want you to pull up the right hip, or just the hip in general, and we're going to go to that real quick. Because you got to remember, the dog is right now mirroring you. You have been given a nutrition and everything else, and if that is the case, and you still seems to be an issue, then we have to look more on the energetic pattern. And you said it was the right hip, correct?
Yes, and he's laying in the room with me.
All right, so the definition is, now remember, this is the reflection, so it says involvement, ambivalence. They have rather intense conflict about how to go about connecting and fitting into the world. Do you have problems connecting and fitting in with certain people?
Yes.
Okay, now I also see the dog. Did the dog have a problem coming into this world?
Yes, his mother was sick, and my daughter had to spoon feed him for quite a bit of time.
Okay, and that's also the memory of what the dog's body's doing, is going, oh, I'm confused. I don't know how to fit into this world. And so it's coming up. So the basic thing I would tell you to do is to help bring the feeling of the emotion. Then if you feel it, then I would say then with the dog, if you know the emotions come up, otherwise go get the emotion code. The emotion code, it's a chart on, you can get off the computer, and what you do is print that off and use your intuition, use a pendulum, do whatever you need to do, and find the emotion that's trapped in the dog's body, and use a magnet or even your hand, and once you get connected with the emotion, feel it for the dog, and then roll it out of your dog. You can roll it out of yourself and use yourself as a surrogate, but that is how...
This is on your website?
I don't have the emotion code up on there, but if you look up the emotion code chart, you should be able to find it and print it off.
Yeah, it's you just searching emotion code, you're gonna get Dr. Bradley Nelson. It's one of the first hits, and then just go right to that website, and then there's downloads on that.
Because the first thing I would tell
Okay.
you is if you just take your hand and get connected with grief, that's the very first thing that I see as far as emotion with the dog. Now, if you say yes, me and Jen will be able to work on releasing the grief, but we're going to put it up and do it later because right now we got such a time factor. But otherwise, there's some healing tools to help you and the dog. And so would you like us to release the grief after the show?
Absolutely.
All right, so that's what we'll do.
Absolutely. We lost our cat too, and he seemed to be bugged by that. You know, of course, he was close to him.
Okay, so just go and do the healing tool, and that'll help out. Otherwise, go to our website and look at other healing tools you can use for the animals as well. You can use them on people as well as animals, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, dear.
Alrighty.
Now we're
Thank
going
you
to
very
take,
much.
you're welcome. We've only got like 2 minutes left, but let's see what we can do for area code 780. Is there anything that we can do for you really quick?
No, just say thank you, ladies.
Aw,
Hey.
hi. Aloha, Jay. How are you doing, sweetie?
Very good. I had a good chance to, happy spiritual New Year to all three of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Just say thank you. I'll probably catch you another time, but I did successfully talk to my mother finally face to face on some things during Christmas time, during a full moon actually. So
Wow.
it was a great experience.
Good,
I did
good.
a face to face, 3-hour talk.
Wow.
Did it actually. We did it in a ceremony, so it was good.
Oh, good. Oh, absolutely. We want to keep sending you a lot of light, Jay, because, you know, we care about you and we love you. I do want to say, I want to give you a card,
30 seconds.
a quick card to go. So the card that comes up real quick is the mountain.
Number 6, the mount. Okay.
It gets
get
there, he'll
that.
read it to you.
Okay, you have the capacity to flow around any obstacle. This is the time to adapt. Sometimes you'll come across what appears to be insurmountable obstacles, like a huge mountain that separates you from your success. You might think that climbing it or chiseling away at it is the answer, but why take such a treacherous, tedious approach? Be like the rivers that flow around mountains
Okay.
naturally.
All right, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to
Okay.
learn to
Yeah.
breathe. You're going to call in Archangel Raphael, because Jen drew a card, and you're going to breathe, and you're going to allow yourself to go with the flow, and you'll see what your next step is. Okay, sweetheart? We got to go, and I love you, and
Thank you, everyone.
everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
All right, bye.